Welcome to the Fluff, and welcome to some SCP reading. We broke into the SCP Foundation, and as you can see, right here, right now, they're on high alert. They're trying to find me. The red alarm is active. By the way, I'm a little bit miffed. The fact that my Afro neon light is already drained out of battery this quick. Like, I know there's like Halloween, Christmas lights with batteries that last for fucking weeks. This thing lasted for a couple days. But to be fair, I did fall asleep a couple of times just having that on, so that might be a solid reason why you should not leave it on. But yeah, no, I feel like it should last a bit longer. So tomorrow I have to buy some batteries, and then hopefully tomorrow it will look back to its glorious bright self. And while I'm at it, I should probably look for battery charger, because instead of always buying new packs, I'd rather just charge up the current ones I have. You know what? Actually, I should probably just invest in that, and I will look in that first before I buy a pack. But yeah, other than that, how y'all doing? How y'all doing Twitch? How y'all doing YouTube in the future? I hope you're doing well. I hope everything's going well for you. I hope your Saturday is splendid. I had D&D tonight, and I bought myself some new running shoes with carbon plating. Gonna use them on Monday, run 13 kilometers and see how well they can handle that distance, and just in general my running style. I'm looking forward to it. But for now, what I'm going to look forward... Oh, wait, hold on. I keep forgetting that's a thing I have to change, because otherwise the beeps and voice change doesn't work, because for everybody who doesn't know, I use, what's this called? Voice meter, to change some audio stuff so that I can play music on streams and it will disappear. There we go. It will disappear in the VOD. But this should now all work. Mario is always gonna be my test guy. Alright. 5 minutes have passed. Let's get to it. Gurgles. So 1140 is gurgles. What could this entail? I imagine it's... Okay, here's what I imagine. It is a mouthwash that you gurgle, and you're like... Oh. But then when you spit it out, for some reason the sound of gurgling continues. even though you don't have it in it, you just go to bed. Your loved ones, they're like good night, honey, and you like open your mouth and it just goes, and then they're like, do you still have the mouthwash in your mouth? And you're like, no, but all she hears is so it's just constant gurgling sound for everybody else except for you. You lose your ways of communication with people because it just sounds awful. Safe. Okay, it's safe. And you know what? Where did you put my... Oh, God. Where did you put me cloth to clean my... Oh, no. Oh, no. That's not good. Did she throw it away? I hope she didn't, because that would be a problem. Okay, I'm going to break the immersion for a quick second. That's a problem. If she threw away my only cloth to clean my glasses, that will be a problem. I hope she didn't. Okay, for now I will just deal with dirty glasses. I will look after the stream. Well, that would be ridiculous if she did that. She usually asks me if something's trash or not, and then she decides what to do with it, but yeah, oh well, there's nothing I can do. SCP-1140 may be kept in any secure storage area of sufficient size. It is currently in room R413. For accurate and rigorous testing, however, it is required that the object is kept in a room with at least 2 meters of clearance in each direction for movement of testing equipment and is supported at least 20 centimeters off the ground by 4 clear perspex rods. My god, what is that word? I hope you cannot hear the fireworks outside. One mounted at each corner of the base. The base is to be mounted upon a weighing apparatus which is connected to an alarm. The alarm is to sound if the weight of the object changes by more than 0.4%. Footnote says, this allows for changes due to humidity and moisture absorption. Endoscopy equipment is to be stored in the storage area's equipment locker at all times when not in use. SCP-1140 is a chest of 7 drawers painted with clear glass varnish over oak. The chest is 148 centimeters in width, 49 centimeters in depth, and 91 centimeters in height. The drawers dimensions are top to bottom. 3 drawers, 46 centimeters wide, 21 centimeters tall, and 46 centimeters deep. Okay, 2 drawers, 70... Wait, so it's a chest of 7 drawers. Okay. Excuse me about that. My lip always drives me a bit crazy with the skin hanging off, so... 2 drawers 70 centimeters wide, 21 centimeters tall, and 46 centimeters deep. 2 drawers 70 centimeters wide, 71 centimeters tall, and 46 centimeters deep. The anomalous behavior is observed when the central drawer in the top row of the chest is open at least 2 centimeters. That's not a lot. That's like if you just did this, like... I'm not sure if you can see it, but if you just... Okay, actually, there's no point of trying to like explain with my drawer, but yeah... That's not a lot of leeway, whereby under certain circumstances vocalization can be detected from within the chest. This will does the chest do the oh sound? This vocalization has been designated -1. Testing has shown that the circumstances include the presence of a single prepubescent child, the presence of a single postpubescent who has significant mental retardation. Testing suggests that an individual with an IQ of less than 55 will prompt anomalous behavior, but to a certain and more accurate figure would require unreasonable resources. Or any adult who has assisted with... here we go. Redacted. Another footnote. Access to this data is level 5 only. Dismantling the chest has revealed there to be nothing within the cavity behind the drawers capable of producing vocalization. Presence of speakers or any other electromagnetic equipment capable of playback has been ruled out by use of metal detection apparatus. As the anomalous vocalization only occurs when a single individual is present, remote control equipment must be used during testing. Presence of the equipment seems to have no effect on testing. Although -1 is for all experimental consideration a disembodied voice, any attempt to reach towards the rear of the drawer during such time as the voice can be heard results in injury. This appears to only occur to live human beings and does not occur when -1 is inactive. The wounds are consistent with having been caused by a large claw and are most similar in pathology to wounds caused by a large rat-hide, ostrich, emu, or cassowary. Okay. So there's something about... Is this a mimic? Is this a mimic? By any chance? The item was recovered from the dining area of the house in... The house was otherwise unremarkable after application of Class A amnestics and neurolinguistic programming by a field agent. The family remained in situ, with the chest having been replaced by a non-anomalous replica. SCP-1140 came to the attention of a researcher doing periodic checking of psychiatric reports. There's a lot of footnotes here. Operation DIRT is a system of scanning computers which search the databases of psychiatric institutions for keywords which may suggest anomalous behavior. In this case, the keywords were imaginary friend, cross-referenced with and a field agent was sent out to the interview both the report's subject and his family. Interviews revealed that the youngest member of the household had been found on several occasions sitting on the floor near to SCP-1140 and having conversations with what the family believed to be an imaginary friend. The amount of time that the child spent doing this, in addition to his refusing to move for hours, resulted in him being reviewed by a child psychiatrist. Yeah, that might be a bit of a problem if you, as a parent, if you know. Wait a minute, what's happening here? Okay, as a parent, if you see your child constantly talking to the drawer for hours upon hours. Okay, recovery interview log. Here we go. Excerpt 11:12 to 13:42. So this is past midnight. From recovery interview 1140-A5. Okay. 6-year-old male. Okay, so when did you first start hearing the voice? I heard him talking to me when I walked past him once. Can you remember how old you were? Oh, it was after my birthday party. I was 6 at my party. Less than 8 months then. What did the voice say? It's not a voice, it's Mr. Gurgles. Is that what he says his name is? No, I made it up. He doesn't tell me his name. It's Chucky. Chucky did it. It's Chucky did it. What does he sound like? He sounds like he's on the news. On the news? Yes, he sounds all posh like Prince Charles. Okay, sure. And what does he say to you? We just talk about me, about school. Does he talk about himself at all? No, I asked him why he was in the drawer once, and he said he wasn't in the drawer. I asked him where he was then, and he said that he was only a representation in this dimensional. It can be reasonably assumed that this was representation in this dimension. Yeah, that makes sense. Did he say anything else about himself? I asked him what his house was like, and he said he didn't want to tell me. He got a bit angry, and so I didn't ask him again. What did he say when he was angry? I couldn't tell. His voice went all crackly. It was scary. I didn't like it. Okay, so you wouldn't like me when I'm angry. I eat shit when I'm angry. So interview C1. Except from test interview C1, D93223, 19-year-old female, lusotomy performed. Wait, how do you pronounce this? How do you pronounce this?
Leucotomy.
Leucotomy. Okay, and meaning. The surgical cutting of white nerve fibers within the brain, especially prefrontal lobotomy, formerly used to treat mental illnesses. Okay, so leucotomy performed at Data Expunged. Hello. Pushes straw shot. A researcher enters the room and reopens it. He sounds all posh, right? He's gone now. Who has gone? The man? Yes, the man has gone. We can talk. You can help me. What can I do? I can't talk to you. Are you from England? I'm from England, yes. I want to go to England. I need you to find me some... Silence for 8 seconds. Things. Can you do that? Oh, I can't find things. They say at the hospital I'm always losing things. Have you asked your mom? The following was inaudible during the recording and has been reconstructed using forensic audio analysis. How did it feel? Did it make a noise when they tore it out? Did you inaudible when it came away? I bet you inaudible all the way through it, didn't you? Filthy bitch. You haven't even inaudible pussy before you came in. You shouldn't have told him why. You never should have told inaudible why you didn't help her. I don't like you. You tell lies. I hate you, shouts at the door. Let me out. Mr. Gurgle's a liar. He's a fucking liar. Let her out, I tire of her. She can't help me. This is the only occasion -1 has spoken directly to a member of Foundation personnel. Wow, you don't have to be so fucking rude now, do you? There was absolutely no need for that. interview F4. Exit from test interview F4, D49283, 28-year-old male, brain damage following a prisoner stabbing. I can hear you breathing. It's rude to not say hello. What? Where are you? Where are you in there? D49283 begins pulling at the drawer. When it is fully open, he reaches inside. Please, I would rather you did not do that. Where are you in there? Becomes agitated. Stop that. I would much rather read at this point. D49283 pulls his hand back and begins crying. There's a laceration on the back of his hand and wrist approximately 8mm deep and 65mm long. You hurt me. You hurt. Well, I did ask you not to. I would recommend applying pressure to that with dry cloth and then apply ointment to it to assist healing. I apologize for my action. Oh, okay, he's nicer with him than he was with the girl, so. During the test conversation, the area behind the drawer was constantly monitored by an endoscopic camera, a thermometer, and a barometric indicator. At no point was there any change in any of the readings during the conversation, in which a D-class was injured. The camera showed no movement apart from the injury itself, which occurred between frames of the video. Okay. I did not expect Gurgles to be a talking drawer that's just... Apparently he wants some things. We don't know what things he wants. Interesting. Fascinating indeed. Entrepreneurial spirit. Oh god. I have to look up the meaning of this again. Characterized by the taking of financial risks in the hope of profit. Yeah, that's what it was. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to look. I'm sorry! Code red. Yeah, that neon sign is dying. It's like, please, no more. So it's a spirit that does I wonder if it's doing good or bad financial decisions, but I assume it's a spirit buying. I only saw the picture of the building, so I assume it's a spirit buying infrastructure and buildings and just wasting a lot of finances. And then when people ask them yeah, Mr. that blah 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 bought this house, and like that, there's no person with that name. Is that possible? Can there be a person who has a name can somebody exist? I don't know how to answer that. I don't know how to ask this question even. Like, is it possible that a name is not already picked out by the amount of humans we have on this earth? That's what I want to ask. Like, if this spirit were to like buy a place, and then like somebody's like, oh yeah, Mr. blah 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 bought it, and then the foundation's like, nobody in that name exists. Is that possible? Can there actually be a chance that there's a name that doesn't exist yet, basically? I don't know how to ask that question, to be honest. Keita Alterius. Walkabout Grill. Okay. -1 manifested March 20, 2004. All public zoos in Connecticut, Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, and Vermont are to be under constant surveillance by personnel at Site 85 and Site 86. That's a lot of zoos you gotta keep track of. Should SCP-1141 occur, the approximate nature and threat level of -1 is to be ascertained as soon as possible, with the nearest branch of Mobile Task Force Gamma 80, aka ecologists, deployed to the zoo in question with all equipment deemed necessary. Upon arrival, MTF Gamma 80's task is to destroy -1 or render it inoperable as soon as possible. Whoa. The use of force is authorized for this purpose. If -1 does not pose an immediate risk to the public, MTF Gamma 80 will purchase several food items and prevent all public access to -1. If this does not result in the disappearance of -1 within 25 minutes, Site Director Jackson is to be notified. Food items purchased from Dash 1 are to be sent to Site 86 for further research and containment. AMN M4311 is to be distributed through the zoo's public address systems, mass texting services, and all. I just now realized something. Oh, never mind. I did not realize anything. I was wrong. What I realized was indeed already there. In order to prevent dissemination of information regarding SCP-1141 and related Foundation operations. Damage to zoo property and any casualty are to be attributed to fire, vandalism, or animal escape as deemed appropriate to the situation. Should Site 85 budget allow, an anonymous donation may be made to the affected zoo to cover costs of repairs. I see. Which is rare for the Foundation to be like, hey, we pay for any damage that's happening while this SCP goes absolutely haywire. As of additional resources have been allocated to projects deemed capable of neutralizing SCP-1141, with all strictly relevant research under the purview of Dr. Eichmann. Eiche is Eiche oak? English. Yeah, Eiche is oak. So this is Mr. Oakman, which is kind of funny because Dr. Oak from Pokemon, and now we have an Oakman here who takes care of animals. We also research on the Yeah, well, he's guarding or watching over animals. Kind of funny. Little coincidence, maybe. Who knows? SCP-11. This is when like the writer of this SCP actually contacts me. He's like, "How did you know? You were not supposed to know." And I'm like, "I'm sorry." It's already too late though. The video's out. Delete it. Nobody's supposed to know. I'll pay you all the money. Just delete it. You don't have to pay me anything. Just calm down. I can't calm down. It was supposed to be a secret. SCP-1141 is a phenomenon in which an instance of SCP-1141-1 instantaneously appears at a public zoo in the New England region of the United States. See containment procedures. This occurs approximately 30 minutes prior to the opening time of the zoo in question. The infrastructure and nearby structures such as utilities, enclosures, pathways, and other buildings will be altered to accommodate -1's presence as will maps of the zoo. SCP-1141 will only occur under the following conditions. No instances of -1 are operational. Less than 20% of the zoo's grounds are covered in snow. Okay, so winter times, huh? Okay. The temperature has been above 15 degrees Celsius during operating hours. Okay, so these are basically different conditions. Like, so one can be happening in winter, one could be happening in the spring or fall. At least 250 days have passed since the demanifestation of the most recent instance of -1. So even if you keep track of all this stuff, after a certain time, it will still SCP-1141 will still happen. Okay, instances of -1 take the form of a fully staffed, supplied, and operational restaurant that is thematically consistent with other restaurants in the zoo and with the area of the zoo in which it is located. For example, an instance of -1 that manifested near a leopard enclosure was called Leopard Spot Snack Shack. See file photo. That doesn't look at that photo. Food served at -1 is consistent with food served at similar establishments, with the exception of each instance offering guacamole with pineapple chunks. Food and other supplies will appear as needed inside -1. Out of view of the public, staff of the zoo will not demonstrate any familiarity with -1. All individuals staffing -1 are anatomically, there we go. That's how you say it. And now I already forgot. Anatomically and behaviorally. Is that a word? Behaviorally consistent with human beings and will run -1 to the best of their ability. These individuals are fluent in English and knowledgeable in the operation of -1. They are either unwilling or unable to answer personal questions such as identity and personal history, or questions pertaining to the nature of or origin of the SCP-1141. They will not leave -1 willingly. Instances of -1 have an unpredictable and often dangerous effect on the surroundings. The exact cause of this is not known with certainty. However, analysis has led several researchers to propose that instances of -1 do not necessarily operate under physical laws or constraints present in our dimension. Prior to the manifestation, see event log -1 for detail. Of course they don't. If an instance of -1 is rendered inoperable, or if its presence causes obvious injury to a person visible from -1, the instance will then manifest within the next 25 minutes with all infrastructure, structures, and maps of the zoo return to the previous conditions. All food items sold by -1 will remain and may continue to demonstrate enormous properties. Okay, here we have an event log -1 clearance sensitive document. Wait, did it split into two? Oh no, it's just, okay, you just can close it again like that. All locations and several manifestations have been removed from this document as per level 2 probationary clearance protocols. This document will serve to illustrate the effect of SCP-1141 and should not be taken as a comprehensive list of SCP-1141 events. Okay, July 1985. Accurate description of -1 could not be gained. Incident and all of its contents manifested at approximately 5,000 degrees Celsius. Despite this, it appeared to be fully functional and did not combust. The instance disappeared after its foundation crumbled, resulting in structural collapse. Fire caused by -1 destroyed several animal enclosures and injured 4 park employees before being extinguished. I'm not sure why I'm yawning this often. June 1990, -1 manifested as the Amazon Basin Cafe while the building remained intact. -1 appeared to experience gravitational force approximately 2.3 times stronger than Earth's surface gravity. 2 orders of French fries were procured prior to -1's disappearance due to the inability of its staff to serve customers. Testing indicated that this food had no greater mass than comparable French fries, yet weighed 2.3 times as much as the mass would indicate. June 1991, -1 was entitled A Grisly Tale. The instance was found to be fully operational and not immediately dangerous. A variety of food items were purchased before -1 disappearance was induced by the placement of foundation guards to prevent entry. Analysis of the food indicated that the Broglie wavelength was approximately 1 centimeters despite having a normal mass. The food has been designated as a separate anomalous item and is recontained at Site 86. April 1992, -1 was not detectable aside from alterations to infrastructure. Maps of the zoo marked a restaurant called Safari Grill. The changes to the zoo's infrastructure were 2 hours after opening, presumably when it became apparent that none of the zoo's patrons were aware of -1. Later records indicate that relatively frequent repairs to structure near this area have been necessary since this manifestation. And September 1994, -1 manifested as the Glacier Cafe. Reports and later analysis indicate that this instance of -1 was subject to drastically accelerated buildup of static electricity. -1 did not appear to be grounded. For weather conditions at the time contributed to this problem. Footnote says winds in excess of 50 kilometers per hour. 17 individuals, not including the occupants of -1, were killed by static discharge before -1 disappeared. That's audio log, okay. Conversation between 2 individuals occupying SCP-1141 recorded July 1978 via hidden microphone. The individuals in question have been identified by the names on the name tags. The conversation was held in English. Special containment procedures at the time of the recording involved keeping a relatively safe instance of -1 in operation at the zoo. Access was denied to the general public, and personnel regularly purchased food from -1 to maintain containment. Okay, how do you say that name? Dwayne? Is that like a different way to say Dwayne? Or is that Duane? Yeah, I think that's a different way to say Dwayne, huh? I don't think they're actually eating the food. The maintenance people have been carrying out more trash than they were when we were scouting. Jesus. So, they're still buying it. Does it matter if they eat it? I didn't get into the restaurant business in this universe to be allowed to actually serve my food to the public. Unintelligible. It's probably poison or something, isn't it? Oh, Miranda's messed up the speed of light again. I can't even tell. So why don't you go talk to them and convince them to let us work? They know we won't break containment or whatever it is, right? We can talk and act just like people. And how do I convince them that it won't end up like it did in... Or, I swear, a tiny fraction of the ketchup is accidentally... And you can't be trusted with anything. Asking some human scientists for help is out of the question. You know they wouldn't understand anything about how we make this happen. They're still primitive. According to the US standards, maybe, but if you're going to be difficult, then whatever. Honestly, your obsession with restaurants and zoos is kind of creepy and a little racist. Do humans count as a race? I don't even know, honestly. I've been breathing oxygen for too long. Well, you're perfectly free to leave. If it bothers you that much. Except you can't, because you lost your travel license in Unintelligible. So you're stuck with me in this creepy racist restaurant until Miranda can nail down the physics good enough for us to not kill anyone. So now you care about killing humans. Just shut up, we're leaving. Aliens. Well, I mean, could be aliens, could be something else. Dash 1 manifested 7 minutes later, further attempts to restrict the public's access to Dash 1 from the point on have resulted in Dash 1 disappearing. Containment protocols have been altered appropriately and Dash 1 has been upgraded to Key to Class. Okay. Because like they just pop up and now they have information that maybe they might or might not accidentally kill humans. Addendum. Until we fully understand and can predict... Until we fully understand and can predict the properties of SCP-1141, the possibility remains that it could trigger a catastrophic event, such as antimatter explosion or vacuum metastability event. With no forewarning, I formally recommend fast-tracking research that could be useful in producing the means necessary to neutralize SCP-1141. Dr. Eichmann. Approved, Dr. Faust. Nice! We got approved instant. A cry for help, oh boy. I'm thinking of skinwalkers. Because we had a couple SCPs that were about like, oh, it sounds like somebody in distress, and then you walk over there and it's like actually a monster. It's like, I'll kill you or eat you or anything like that. And they have all different methods to lure in the human beings. They're innocent, not knowing any better human beings. So I assume it's gonna be something in that similar vein where like you think somebody's actually in danger, but then you come closer and you're like, oh, you hoodwinked me, bamboozled. But what? Okay, this is not the image I expected to find. Not at all. That's interesting. It's safe. SCP-1142 is to be contained in a standard non-humanoid holding cell at Site 12. An automated recording system is to be monitored. Is to monitor SCP-1142 at all times. Two Level 2 members of technical staff are to inspect any recordings made on a daily basis, and in case of a transmission having been picked up, are to provide this transmission to the current translation operator for conversation from its original German into English. A full report is then to be submitted to the current Level 4 project lead as per the protocols for inter-reality relations. The battery SCP-1142 carries is to be checked on the first of every month for signs of deterioration. SCP-1142 propulsion systems have been disabled to simplify containment. Okay, I can see that's a very small tank. Right, it's supposed to be very tiny. Unless that window in the back is super huge, but I don't think that's the case. SCP-1142 is a Goliath tracked mine. So that's a mine? See, I don't really know much about weapons and stuff like that, so... Original designation, leichter Ladungsträger Goliath. So, easier load carrier Goliath. STKFZ 300B, as used by 303B, as used by the German Wehrmacht during the Second World War. Okay, so that's Second World War German. It's called a relic, like a war relic, but it's probably still functionable. SCP-1142 shows no signs of aging, although original designation to carry an explosive charge contains a heavily modified KWEA Wehrmacht radio receiver within its housing. The modified components are of design and complexity inconsistent with the level of German technology during the middle of the 20th century. SCP-1142 relies on a gasoline engine for propulsion and carries an early model thermal battery for the operation of the receiver. So it just... I assume not only does it not age, as in like it doesn't rust or look like it's actually, it looks always brand new. I assume if it's meant to explode, which I don't know. Oh, is this a thing that just drops mines? Is that what it is? I have no idea. I don't know what it is. But if it's meant to explode, which I doubt that's the case, it will just always stay intact, maybe. So it shows no sign of aging on the modified components of... Wait, I'm already down there. And irregular intervals transmission in German have been recorded from SCP-1142. In all cases, contact has been made by an individual referring to himself as Brigadeführer, designated -1. Historical research has verified his existence, though records show him to have been killed during Allied military action on 19. Analysis of transmission recorded have yielded several critical points of divergence from our timeline. These include several individuals not currently known to have held office within the Wehrmacht occupying key positions within that body, large-scale deaths among German civilians from an unknown pathogen with symptoms resembling acute necrotizing fasciitis, a sinkhole with a diameter of approximately 16 kilometers appearing in the Lublin province of Poland in the late 19. There we go. Reports of mass destruction of German settlements by unknown force, all Allied powers isolating in the European continent, with troop actions being focused on containment of redacted. Development of reality gating technology in 19. In addition, -1 claims to be broadcasting from Austria in the year 19. In the light of this and the aforementioned divergences, transmissions received through SCP-1142 have been deemed to originate from an alternate reality iteration designation DM-AX/15487-A. Additionally, classification as intertemporal is pending. Recorded transmissions from SCP-1142 indicate DM-15487-A is experiencing or has experienced a C-class reality failure scenario. At this time, communications are restricted to receiving and recording the signals broadcasted by -1 from DMX-AX/15487-A. Attempts to initiate contact with or send signal to that have proven ineffectual. Following the events of Foundation communication with SCP-1322-A, which we don't know what it is, further research into initiating contact with -1 or responding to its transmissions has been suspended. Recovering preliminary containment notes, SCP-1142 was discovered in a barn on the outskirts of Fürstenzell, Germany on 2000. German authorities alerted by the owner found SCP-1142 idling and, after recognizing its original purpose, brought in the Kampfmittelräumdienst (KRD) to refuse it. It covered contact within the service alert local Foundation agents when she found SCP-1142 showed no signs of age and did in fact not contain an explosive charge. A recovery team then managed to extract it from the German authorities and transport it to Site 12. Okay, so there was no explosive charge in it, which can either mean that there's different ways to get an explosive charge activated inside of it, or they use all the explosive charges and now it's empty. So you have to manually reload it like the normal deal. Maybe. I assume that's the normal deal. Addendum A2, except from transmissions log 1142/L/DE-en 15 ref 1.04. This is Brigadeführer. Is there anyone out in unintelligible? This signal? I am broadcasting from the observatory. There are 6 unintelligible left. If anyone is out there, please make contact in unintelligible. Annenerbe, Hauptsturmführer, unintelligible, ignored. What? Number of sacrifices. Now, retreating from German people will not solace. I am reminded. RAF, efforts in Poland, gone now. It sank into, lost our entire force. Once more, please respond. Please, begging, if anyone, our surrender is unconditional. Gone. We did not understand, dealing with, could not reason, was the last, gone now. So for every unintelligible I'm just skipping, just in case people are wondering like why my the reading just sounds so wonky now. Attempts to failure. This is our last. It eats, covered in many millions dead. Please are able to hear this broadcast once again. This is Brigadeführer broadcasting from the Reichsführer. Was a go. No contact. We seek, please. Attempted to negotiate. Struggling with. Lost too many. Only option. We are begging. We're wrong. If Germany fall, the world, we implore, help us now. Time of need you will be. And then the last one is help. Help. Well, Sonic Heroes is on its way. You're good. You're good. You're safe. So it looks like, I wonder if the little landmine tracker is also from a different reality, or if that's from our reality and just happens to have some extra anomalous effect where it's like I just don't age, I just don't rust away. You can use me as many times as you want. Cool, got some little explosions. Well, all I can imagine is that like when every time somebody turns around, an explosion happens behind them, and then they walk in slow mo, but everybody else is just walking in normal speed, and they're like, "What are you doing? There's an explosion! There's fire everywhere! Move!" And you're just like with shades on, so it's moving in slow mo. Safe. SCP-1143 is to be locked in a fitted carrying case kept in a standard safe class containment locker. SCP-1143 is not to be worn except during controlled testing performed. I assume it's shades. You put shades on and then the explosion happens. Performed under the jurisdiction of a level 3 researcher. Under no circumstances is SCP-1143 allowed to be worn indoors or within the site of any Foundation structures. I'm so yawny today, I'm so sorry. I mean, to be fair, I didn't sleep a lot this week. Description: SCP-1143 is a pair of unbranded aviator sunglasses. When worn by an individual, -1, it causes inanimate objects behind the individuals to spontaneously explode in a seemingly random pattern. The likelihood of SCP-1143 causing explosions is dependent on the 6 variables. These 6 variables determine the various attributes of SCP-1143 effects. Build. The physiology of -1 affects the size of SCP-1143's effects. The more physically fit -1 is, the more explosive force is generated. This can also be affected by the mental capabilities of -1. Subjects with above average intelligence also increase the explosion scale. God, so if you are mentally very well off, you train a lot, like you're buff as well, and smart, you're gonna cause a big bang, dude. Attitude. Dash one's attitude affects the magnitude spread the magnitude spread and duration of SCP-1143's effect. Why am I so yawny today? I even had Chi Fuel just a moment ago. The exact conditions used to define this are unique to each Dash 1 and are dependent on the individual personalities, but confidence, calmness, and pride have been identified as the 3 most common affecting emotions. Dress. The clothing worn by Dash 1 while wearing SCP-1143 affects the nature of the targeted object. Okay. Don't usually all D-class wear the same thing. The exceptions to this being explosives. Any explosive located in SCP-1141's area of effect will be the first item targeted regardless of what Dash 1 is wearing. Okay, gotcha. Suits and other formal clothing cause SCP-1143 to target more industrial objects as well as large-scale architecture. Casual clothing results in more everyday, commonplace objects to be targeted, primary vehicles, homes, and other small-scale infrastructure. Pajamas and other sleeper, including nudity, typically restrict SCP-1143's effect to small-scale household items such as televisions, toasters, and the like. Action. Actions taking affect the likelihood of an object exploding at a given time. SCP-1143's effects are most likely to manifest when rounding a corner, throwing an object over the shoulder of Dash 1, or jumping through objects and out of buildings. Standing still has been shown to cause a severe decrease in SCP-1143's effect, with objects exploding at 0.4% frequency. Speed. Speed affects the spread and velocity of the explosions. Moving slowly has been shown to significantly increase the spread of the explosions with the speed of about 20%. Dash 1's average walking speed causing explosions to be roughly 2,000% larger. Similarly, moving quickly, preferably with the aid of an open-air vehicle, causes 1143's explosion to be significantly more damaging, usually rendering the affected objects shredded and causing flaming debris to be launched violently in every direction. It's cool. It's a bad time for whoever has to deal with the explosions, especially if it hits like a building or a car. Stamina. Dash 1 stamina in reaction to SCP-1143 determines the potential chain reactions of SCP-1143's effects. After the initial detonation, additional detonations will begin to occur rapidly until Dash 1 either reacts adversely to the explosions or witnesses them. SCP-1143 also exhibits a mild space-warping effect, causing all shrapnel from the explosion to miss Dash 1. This effect will also affect bullets and other high projectiles of objects that approach Dash 1 during SCP-1143's duration, which is not a long time, but the duration of which the object is currently exploding typically lasts between 5 and 60 seconds. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not very long with duration. In the event of Dash 1 receiving SCP-1143's effect, whether by turning around or in reflections, the explosions will immediately cease. Damage already dealt to the object will remain, as well as any fires caused as a result of the explosion, but not directly by SCP-1143. Addendum 1, Discovery. SCP-1143 was discovered during a Foundation raid on POI 9173, a Hollywood actor / director and confirmed reality bender. POI 9137 was able to escape utilizing... Wait, did they just switch to 7 and 3 in this one? Yeah, they did, didn't they? Was able to escape utilizing several anomalous items, the majority of which were retrieved and are currently undergoing testing. Addendum 2, Incident A. Doing a test to determine the effects of SCP-1143 when worn improperly, Dash-1 was instructed to place SCP-1143 on the back of her head. SCP-1143's effect did not activate the duration of the test, regardless of any actions performed by Dash-1. A time of approximately 2 hours. Okay. So if you have it just in the back of your head, it doesn't do it. You have to actually look for it. When testing was concluded, Dash-1 was instructed to remove SCP-1143 from her head. Immediately upon doing so, SCP-1143 detonated with an estimated force of 20 megaton. All on-location parties were killed, but due to the volatile nature of SCP-1143, this test has been conducted in a remote location, leading to no further foundation of civilian casualties. Misinformation confirming the blast was a scheduled nuclear weapons test was successfully implanted, and SCP-1143 was later recovered on damage from the side. Further testing of this nature is prohibited. God, so you have it on the back of your head, and you try all these experiments out to see, like, oh, does it react? And it doesn't. It just stores it up. It just waits. Orion, is it supposed to be Orion or Orion scales? I'm still wondering where my cloth went for my glasses. I really hope you did not throw them away. That would be highly problematic. Oh, I didn't guess. I don't know. I will be honest, I don't know with this one. The name doesn't say anything to me. I think Orion has something to do with the stars, if I'm not mistaken. What? Am I sure? Yeah, dude. It's horrible. It's not good. Safe 1144 currently resides in the 5th storage basement of the low priority electronic equipment and instruments vault, row 32C, within a steel footlocker labeled SCP-1144. Both SCP-1144 and Dash-1 require cleaning once a week. Using disinfectant towels. Do not use water to clean either SCP-1144 or Dash-1. Do not press any of the buttons in the process of cleaning SCP-1144. The footlocker itself does not require maintenance. SCP-1144 resembles an Orion HR-120 and analytical balance, a common brand of precise weighing scales like the HR-120. SCP-1144 is a box-like structure measuring 21.3 centimeters times 32 centimeters times 30.2 centimeters, consisting of a base which presumably houses the electronic components of the device and a transparent cage. The base itself comprises an LCD display as well as several buttons for adjusting the scales. Note, these buttons appear to have no effect on the functioning of SCP-1144 or the results it provides. SCP-1144 is permanently active. The display will show no signs of being on until an object is placed upon the scales. Oh, no. At which point the display will activate, providing a reading for the observer. It should be noted that the reading SCP-1141 provides is not a measurement of the object mass. Repeated testing seems to suggest that both mass and weight are entirely irrelevant. Ongoing testing has yielded no indication of what exact objective quantity SCP-114 is able to measure. Although 10 years patterns have been established, for example, two similar objects will tend to produce similar readings. Under normal conditions, SCP-1144 provides its data to 3 decimal places. During initial testing, each object was weighed 3 times, and each time similar readings were produced. This was taken to the evidence that SCP-1141 is in fact weighing a particular quantity which varies in magnitude amongst a given set of objects. The source of the fluctuation are still unknown. And here we have all the tests. Testing 1. Experimental data log involving doctor and junior researcher, and this log documents the finding of the preliminary research team 2 days following the retrieval of SCP-1144 from its home on the 3rd floor of an unknown flat in Brixton, London. Object: pencil, brand new, red, blonde. Reading: 3. Pencil, brand new, sharp. Reading: 5.13. Ballpoint pen, brand new, black ink. 17. Is that supposed to be 1,000 or is that actual dot? Like 17,000 or what? I'm not quite sure. Ballpoint pen, brand new, blue ink. 17. I'm still unsure if that's like supposed to be 7. I think it's 17,000. I think. But then 3,000 is not written. It's 3,000 sometimes written that I don't remember. I guess it is. Fountain pen used. Wait, no. 2 ballpoint pens, brand new, 1 blue ink, 1 black ink, 17,000. I assume it's now in the thousands. No, it's not. The next one doesn't make sense in the thousands, so it's 17. Fountain pen used belonging to Dr. 1128.323. Ballpoint pen and Dr. This is a fountain pen. The reading fluctuated between 17 and 1,128.132. The similar objects placed on the scales at the same time appear to confuse SCP-1144. Dr. BlackBerry smartphone belonging to Dr. 408.31. BlackBerry smartphone belonging to Dr. Battery removed. 430.32. BlackBerry smartphone belonging to Dr. Battery removed. SIM card removed. 15.732. $5 note. 43.23. It's supposed to be like fluctuate between 0.232 and 233 3 times over the space of 20 minutes. And $10 note, 45.31. That's now that's a half, right? 1 half. But 3 halves is a weird. Okay, fluctuate between 0.311 and 0.312 3 times over the space of 20 minutes. Experimental data log involving doctor and senior researcher. It was postulated by senior researcher that the transparent cage would not be removed with approval from doctor. The cage was disabled with relative ease, and the components were placed in a large brown envelope to be labeled -1. -1 does not appear to have any extraordinary properties. However, it remains to undergo further investigation. When -1 removed, SCP-1144 continued to function as before, albeit without the constraint of the shielding, allowing a much larger object to be measured. This log documented the findings of a main research team 2 months after the initial series of observation. 30 kilograms steel weight, 0.003, 60 kilograms steel weight minus 0.006, A Brief History of Time, Stephen Hawking's book, 30.663, Developing Java Software, Windows and Robert's Large Book, 10.2, Senior Researcher, minus 0.502, Doctor, 13.603, Laptop belonging to Doctor, off, 115.2, Laptop belonging to Doctor, on, 158.31. Experimental data log involving Doctor and senior researcher. This log documents the finding of the main research team 1 day after the second series of observation. Doctor, wedding ring, 12 karat gold, 13 50,578.453. Senior researcher, wedding ring, 18 karat gold and electrum, 2,331.453. $5 note, 41.30. Fluctuate between 0.303 and 302, 5 times over the space of 20 minutes. That seems to be the same experiment as before. We have a $5 note right here. And it's a bit lesser reading than before. A picture of a $5 note printed on paper, 0.302. $10 note, 51.41. Fluctuate between okay, that's what, like, yeah, because it's 41 before, right? But it's 414 and 415 basically. It's like flips between those two. 5 times over the space of 20 minutes. A picture of a $10 note on a print on paper. 0.301. $20 note, 60.37. Fluctuate between 374 and 375 times over the space of 20 minutes. A picture of a $20 note printed on paper. 0.32. $50 note. 112.2. Fluctuate between 0.229 and 0.230, 5 times over the space of 20 minutes, and a picture of a $50 note printed on paper is 0.300. Last test. Oh, not what I expected. Experimental log involving doctor and senior researcher, as well as 2D class personnel. This log documents the finding of the main research team and the test subjects 2 days after the third series of observation. Senior researcher and I brought 2D class individuals into the room with the scales. I positioned 2 nondescript white sugar pills on the measuring pad. The reading was minus 0.320. I introduced myself to the individuals, a man and a woman, and told them that the pills on SB1144 were able to grant 100 extra years of longevity and ingestion. Senior researcher noted that the reading changed from 0.2 to 0.31. I proceeded to take one of the pills and dry swallow it. The reading changed from minus 0.31 to 3.503. The D-class personnel were dismissed afterwards. That was an odd one. But sometimes you have those. Nagasaki teddy. Isn't Nagasaki... Oh, wait. Nagasaki is a city, yeah? Yeah, that's a city. But there's no weapon called the Nagasaki, right? There must be something else that I'm thinking about. Oop. Well, we saw the teddy, which... It's weird that we... In the start of the 1000... we bumped across like 3 different teddies so far. So, Nagasaki teddy. I know some bad stuff happened in Nagasaki, so I wonder if that's connected to that. I wonder if this teddy is sentient and sapient. It does not look very friendly. Like, that's definitely a teddy I would not buy my child, because I mean, okay, back then maybe people did, but nowadays, that's a teddy that would scare the shit out of a child. It scares the shit out of me, to be honest. I mean, look at it. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. It's all stitched up and shit. It looks like it's made out of human skin. It's definitely made out of some sort of leather. Or some sort of, maybe even some sort of hide that's been dried. Who knows? Sorry, just was checking something. Made me happy. Object class, Euclid, SCP-1145 is to be contained in a 2 meter cubed borosilicate glass enclosure at least 15 centimeters thick. This enclosure is to be placed in a containment chamber of at least 50 times 50 times 29 meter and monitored for any persons coming within 5 meter of the chamber. Within this chamber, 10 meter outside of the object enclosure, should be 2 standard human containment cells with basic necessities, labeled containment chamber -2 and -3 respectively. 1 D-class personnel must occupy each cell at all times with the eventuality that SCP-1145 will enter its active state. Oh god, what's the active state though? Image of SCP-1145 secured in borosilicate recovery unit. The borosilicate enclosure is to be filled with water at all times. The water is to be changed on biannually basis. Use of Class D personnel have been approved by 056 to carry out refill procedures in order to minimize researchers' risk. Under no circumstances are research personnel permitted to enter SCP-1145's containment chamber without... Where am I? Slippers at. Gotta just give me that. Give me my slipper, please. Yeah. There we go. Under no circumstances are research permitted to enter SCP-1145's containment chamber without NBC gear. Should exposure occur, subjects are to be immediately decontaminated and transferred to another site. 8 xenon short arc lamps outside of the enclosure are to be operated during the biannual refill of the borosilicate enclosure. These lamps are to be replaced once yearly. At no time should the object be illuminated by under 20 lumens unless for approved testing. Following incident 4, the experiment log 1145, no personnel above Class D are permitted to be within 15 meters of the object. Testing with SCP-1145 is subject to approval only by level 4 or above personnel and carried out by level 3 or above personnel. All experimentations and testing of SCP-1145 cancelled under no order of 056. SCP-1145 is a stuffed bear approximately 30 centimeters tall, recovered from Nagasaki, Japan in 19... Yeah, now the thing about it, this design does seem familiar, and I kind of guessed it was like... I mean, of course, Nagasaki is a Japanese town name, but the design does seem familiar to me. I feel like I saw something that had to do with Japanese media, and I don't know what it was. Ugh. You ever have to, like, spot in the back that you can only barely reach? Like, you can still reach it, but it's, like, barely. It's like you have to dislocate your shoulder just to have a much easier time. Our fabric consists entirely of leather taken and cured from Ursus thipentenus. So it is an animal skin or hide that basically became a leather and then the skin of this bear. The seams are stitched with heavy strands of an unidentified fibrous connective tissue. No attempts have been made to breach the outer covering of the object, as containment protocols do not permit contact with the object long enough to retrieve an inner sample. Aside from rudimentary snout, SCP-1145 has no facial features. SCP-1145 weighs 9.4 kilograms, which is considerably heavier than similar stuffed bears of this size. The cause of this discrepancy in weight is unknown. SCP-1145 is radioactive with the doses measured between 2.7 and PBQ, I guess that's the radioactive measurement. I don't know if that's good or like how good that. I mean, at the end, you just don't want any radioactive stuff around you to begin with. But I don't know like which one is like. It's like a amount of radioactiveness where you're like, oh, okay, I can survive here easily, and which one is the one where you like have to be like immediately be like, okay, now if we stay here for like 5 more seconds, we're definitely screwed. In its inactive state, the object emits this radiation consistent with the decay chain of Poo, P U PU. That's fucking childish. Afro, come on. 239 PU 239 U 235 alpha decay and a PU 241 PU 241 AM 241 beta decay. Unlike samples of PU 239 and PU 241, however, the object does not emit any of the gamma radiations normally associated with the radioactive therapy. Therapy? Decay. God, how did I read therapy out of decay? You want some radioactive therapy? Yeah, no problem. Just go into like a nuclear power plant and just chat a little bit with them while being absolutely unprotected. The amount of radiation from SCP-1145 emitted at the space level is 2.7 PBQ. This increases at the rate of MBQ if the object is illuminated. It's not illuminated. The presence of water in the enclosure is sufficient to absorb any radiation emitted from objects. To the effect of Cherenkov radiation, the water also has a side effect of providing sufficient illumination to prevent SCP-1145 from transitioning states. When left unilluminated for a period exceeding 3 seconds, the object will enter its active state. When in this state, the object emits gamma radiation. You don't say. SCP-1145 will begin moving in the direction of the nearest human being. Its method of locomotion is unknown. However, testing has shown the object moves at a speed of approximately 45 meters per second. That is pretty fast. That's pretty fast. More fireworks outside. When in this state, the object is capable of passing through any substance, highly irradiating any surface it's possible. It passes through. God, I must be not be fully awake or just be sleep deprived because I'm reading the wrong things, but causing no visible structural damage. Immediately upon coming to rest within 1 meter of its target, SCP-1145 will begin to increase its emission at a rate of PBQ every 30 seconds. The emissions will continue to increase until the object has been placed up by its target. Once picked up by its target, the emission will return to base levels as long as the subject maintains unshielded skin contact with it. Upon expiration of its target, SCP-1145 will revert to its inactive state. Should the subject expire while the object is unilluminated, SCP-1145 will immediately resume its active state. And experiment log. I almost want to just pull the bed blanket and just wrap it around me because it is getting a bit chilly in here now as well. Winter's coming. Incident log 4. Determine reason for unusual weight of SCP-1145 is by obtaining inner sample of the object. Subject -49 housed in containment chamber 1145 given 1 pair of surgical tweezers D59. I can't believe I said 48 before. D59. Tasked with attempting to retrieve inner samples of object. Dr. Lucas Cave performing experiment. Security officer observing. I can feel my eyes wanting to shut. I mean, we're already at the halfway point, so we should be fine to, as long as there's no like giant one coming up now. Incident report. D59 instructed to separate seams of the object with tweezers and describe substance inside. Subject reported that it appears to be filled with an unidentified metallic substance. Silver. Silvery in appearance. Subject then reported a metallic taste in her mouth. Shortly after, subject began to vomit, dropping the objects. Oh shit, the radiation is now increasing. D59 continued vomiting for another 90 seconds and lost consciousness. Security officer instructed to enter the cell and fix object to D59 with adhesive tape. Subject awakened during the process and became violent. In the ensuing scuffle, the light in containment chamber 3 was disabled and a single shot was fired from security officer. Service pistol. Subject expired. Security officer becomes target for SB-145, moving to rest at its head. At his feet. Why did I read that? God, what is up with me? Not its head, its feet. I'm getting all words confused. I'm definitely feeling it though. Containment protocols were revised to prevent unnecessary exposure to his site personnel. Security officer reclassified as D60. Experiment log 7. Determine possible limits regarding the object's detection and pursuit of targets during its active state. SB-1145 transported to a remote site. Perimeter of 100 kilometers cleared of any personnel and inhabitants for the duration of testing. Once personnel D24 placed in 5-meter cube containment cell 99 kilometers from site. Radiation detectors placed along path of estimated trajectory before illumination halted on objects. After light was extinguished, the object began emitting gamma radiation. The object traveled along expected path of the trajectory at a height of approximately 1 meter off ground level, passing through foliage as expected. After approximately 20 minutes of travel, radiation detectors reported emission at 440 ppq. Object arrived at target 36 minutes 27 seconds after illumination ceased. Those reported on arrival to target measured at approximately 639 ppq. D24 expired within 4 hours of receiving the object due to an acute radiation poisoning. Post-mortem analysis estimated the total dose received by approximately 32 seconds. She sighed like that. And path of trajectory severely contaminated, requiring 26 months of cleanup to remove all tracks of radiation. All further experiments cancelled under order by 056. That teddy bear got hands. Give me a minute. Just gonna get my charging cable for the Mac because it's low on battery. Maybe that helps me wake up a little bit more. Maybe. Psycho printer. I don't know. I immediately had to think of the printer from is it Deep Blue? Is it Deep Blue? No. What's it called? Anime. Perfect blue, perfect blue, perfect blue. Immediately followed the printer from Perfect Blue, where like the first time when she moves into a new apartment and the printer just prints out like a death threat that somebody sent her. So I imagine like it's in that sense, like it's just prints out a lot of threats, and maybe those threats become true. Who knows? It is considered safe, okay? SCP-1146 is to be stored in a standard-sized containment chamber. Due to SCP-1146's ability to connect to networks, it is not allowed to be it is not to be allowed contact with any form of external connection, and may only be allowed access to closed on-site networks for the purposes of testing. In the event of site transfer, SCP-1146 must clearly be marked as such to prevent accidental refilling of filament material. No staff are to attempt to refill SCP-1146 filament material under any circumstances. SCP-1146 appears to be a heavily modified brand 3D printer. Modification include a 40.6 cm LSD screen, LCD, why did I say that? LCD screen, a set of small speakers, an enlarged printing bay, and a number of wires exposed along various points of the subject's case. Through means currently unknown, SCP-1146 seems to lack any requirement of an exterior power source and can continue operating after being unplugged after a short delay. Though no means of opening the object have been found, X-ray imaging has been used to reveal a lack of internal components. SCP-1146 was recovered from an abandoned office building in Russia after a series of reports involving living statues. After a search by agents, SCP-1146 was found in the building, surrounded by a number of models of various creatures and objects. The device was transported to site where it currently resides. I mean, if they can move and talk and walk and attack and all that stuff, that would be crazy. Like, imagine you want to 3D print your favorite character and then that character decides to beat the shit out of you. It would be even worse if that character actually has the powers from the original show. SCP-1146 anomalous attributes are exhibited when a human being comes within 5 meters. The attached screen will automatically turn on, will display a blue oscilloscope. It will begin to yell insults at the individual in the voice of a Russian child or try to convince them to fix a filament blockage. As long as SCP-1146 remains without filament material and no biological material over 1 kilogram in mass is placed in the filament bay, this is the extent of its anomalous abilities. That's it? Is that what you're saying? If SCP-1146 does have filaments, it will begin... Oh, okay, so it's saying like, if you don't fill it, that's it. There's nothing else behind it. But if you do fill it, there's more. It will begin event-1. During event-1, the subject will begin yelling louder and louder, and under its oscilloscope will change from blue to purple. It will begin printing a number of creatures referred to as -1 collectively, including oversized Pendinus imperator, Velociraptor mongolensis, and Ditto expunged. This process takes approximately 45 seconds per model and appears to be merely an accelerated version of the standard printing process. The models display characteristics of the biological materials upon which the filament is based, with an apparent preference for animal muscular and bone tissue. Upon completion, each model will exit the printing bay and tag any humans it encounters. The models, ranging in size from 6 centimeters to 50 centimeters, have a lifespan of approximately 30 minutes, after which they will vitrify. The models are susceptible to gunfire and can also be destroyed by extreme blunt force or temperature capable of destroying the base material. I won't hesitate, bitch! Shoot a little statue. Yeah. SCP-1146 will continue producing models until it reaches 50% filament, after which it will begin Event 2, Event-2 if it has managed to produce at least 5 models, otherwise it will re-enter its dormant state. If SCP-1146 manages to produce 5 models, it will begin Event-2. During this process, the models will attempt to move SCP-1146 to an exit, attacking any on-site personnel en route. SCP-1146 will produce additional models as needed and will create models of increasingly dangerous items and animals as it moves. SCP-1146 will continue this behavior until it runs out of filament, at which point it will enter a dormant state and can be safely transported back to its containment cell. Actually, go back. There we go. In the event even that 1 kilogram or more of biological material is placed into the filament axis, SCP-1146 will begin Event-3. During this process, the organic material is pulled into SCP-1146 through its filament access slot and is violently crushed into a thick paste. In the event that the object is larger than SCP-1146, it will consume as much of the samples as it can and abandon the rest upon finishing Event-2. SCP-1146 will re-enter its dormant state unless there is a human within a 5-meter radius, in which case it will begin Event-1. Arrived containment procedures, okay, and transcript of -16-1-4, yeah, okay. Okay, so the archive containment procedures from the first 16. Okay, let's read it. Safe SCP-1146 is to be stored in a standard-sized containment chamber. Due to the SCP-1146 friendly nature and immobile state, only a single locked door is required for containment. A single guard of a social nature should be posted to keep SCP-1146 company on a weekly rotation. Only personnel who have submitted to formal application for testing with SCP-1146 and received approval may operate SCP-1146. And then SCP-1146 appears to be heavily modified. Brand 3D printer modification include a 40.6 centimeter LCD screen. I don't know why I want to keep on saying LSD. Rolls off the tongue a bit better, I guess, instead of LCD. A set of small speakers, enlarged printing bay, and a number of wires jutting from the subject's case, as the device lacks from any form of opening. In its case, X-ray imaging has been used to reveal a lack of internal components. SCP-1146 was recovered from an abandoned office building in Russia after a series of reports involving living statues. After a search by agent, SCP-1146 was found in the building surrounded by a number of models of various creatures and objects. The device was transported to the site where it currently resides. SCP-1146 anomalous attributes are exhibited when a human being comes within 5 meters of the device. The attached screen will automatically turn on, displaying a green oscilloscope and greeting the person in the voice of a Russian child. The device will then identify itself as Alexei and will then ask the person what they would like to do. At that point, a person can merely chat with the subject or can request it to make a model. Chatting with the subject is limited to subjects understood by most children, such as children's stories and toys. Itchy as hell. And toys, although the printer does seem to be bound to those topics, it seems to be capable of learning and has been taught small amounts of English and Spanish since arriving at site. If the device is asked to produce a model, it will request that it brought an image of the desired model, though through means currently unknown, it will look at the image and begin creating it. Most models take approximately 45 seconds to finish, the process appearing to be an accelerated version of that of a normal printer of the same make. Once completed, the model will animate and exit the printing bay of its own accord. The completed models are of a playful demeanor and are completely safe for handling. The models have a lifespan of approximately 30 minutes, after which the models will undergo vitrification and turn into a regular 3D printed sculpture. Because of SCP-1146 possible sentience, all level 2 and above research staff may request permission for testing SCP-1146 intelligence and modeling. Dr. Transcript -16. Dr. Grant and Dr. Owens both entered the testing chamber along with several new research assistants. Dr. Grant, okay. And this is SCP-1146, your current assignment. SCP-1146 turns on. Hello, it is nice to meet you. My name is Alexei. He just said hello. Research assistant models acknowledgement of the machine gathered around. Now we're going to quickly demonstrate how 1146 works. Dr. Grant turns to SCP-1146. Translation. Hello, Alexei. We would like you to make us a cat. SCP-1146 begins printing, but after 15 seconds stops and a filament jam indicator appears on the screen. Dr. Owen steps forward. What the? How can that even? Dr. Owen reaches into the machine. After a violent crushing sound, the machine begins converting Dr. Owens into additional filaments. No, Dr. Owens! Oh, God! Several research assistants grab Dr. Owens in an attempt to free him from the machine, whilst other research assistant pages security. Translation. Alex, let the doctor go. I'm just fulfilling my filament. It will just take a moment. Dr. Grant appears to panic as security staff storm the room. He rushes for the wall outlet and unplugs SCP-1146. Why? At this point, SCP-1146 seems to deactivate. Dr. Owens is pulled from the machine with 75% of his torso gone. As his body is dropped on the floor, SCP-1146 reactivates. Why did you try to kill me? I thought we were friends. Dr. Grant gestures for the others to leave the room as he retreats. You killed my friend, Alex. What was I supposed to do? But I just... Dr. Grant and the research team retrieve from the room. I was just having fun. Yeah, but sometimes having fun can be dangerous. On the first 16, SCP-1146 began creating additional models before security teams could respond. The models had breached containment and began transporting SCP-1146 out of the facility. 14 site security staff were killed before all models were neutralized. SCP-1146 was found attached to an Ethernet cable on level 2. All site computers received the following email. I hate you all. Oh boy. Oh boy. I mean, yeah, now he's a psycho printer, huh? But it sounds... I mean, if he builds a whole army, then it's probably the most dangerous, huh? Adaptive Plum Tree. God, why are these titles not gonna make it any more easier for me anymore? I mean, to be fair, I think after like 1,000 SCPs, reading 1,000 SCP, you run out of ideas. Like I do, not the website. The website has more than enough SCPs, but I run out of ideas what this SCP could potentially be just from the title alone. Adaptive Plum Tree. It can't be as nice as a plum tree that's just adapting to the nature around it, like as in like summer, winter, fall, spring, but always grows plums no matter what is happening, even though it's not. Sometimes it shouldn't be in season or shouldn't be able to grow. But no matter the ground, no matter the place, no matter the climate or temperature or weather, it always grows plums. We're having a lot of SCPs today where like we can expand it through the text below it, huh? Like this, I'm pretty sure it's like we're on number 8 now. Like this is the 8th SCP that we're reading today. Out of the 8 SCPs, I'm pretty sure 6 of them you can expand below here. Why did I just from one this guy seemed familiar. Euclid. All specimens of SCP-1147 are to be stored in a separate plants in a 10 times 30 times 5 meter greenhouse located above ground on the premises of Sector 28. 3 liters of water should be added to each planter every 7 days. All instances of -1 produced by the specimens should be stored in an opaque container next to each planter. Personnel working in greenhouse are to be screened upon exit to prevent accidental dispersal of -1. Following test -CC, all handling of -1 must be done with approved tools. Testing the safety and edibility of any specimen of -2 is restricted to D-class personnel. After 48 hours of observation, specimens may be cleared for general consumption. I really wish I can find my... I guess I just have to use my shirt. All deaths must be approved by Dr. Laurel. SCP-1147 is an unclassified species of plum tree whose seeds designated -1 can be planted in practically any substance. The resulting plant will adopt physical attributes from the utilized substance. SCP-1147 has proven capable of growing in solids, loose material, and liquid via hydroponics. SCP-1147 produces fruit, designation -2. The original specimen of SCP-1147 was discovered growing from the steel base of a lamppost in Georgia, where it was believed to be an art installation by the local population, but because it grew out of a place that it shouldn't grow out of normally, like a tree shouldn't grow out of. One SCP-1147 control, standard potting soil, standard potting soil. Normal plant tree closely matching similar species. Seeds retain anomalous properties sweeter than expected. To eliminate as many variables as possible, only seeds from SCP-1147 control should be used for new tests. SCP-1147-ST 20 centimeter cube of galvanized steel, 5 centimeter hole drilled in the top, C planet within, plugged with steel shavings. Trunk is high quality steel with a superior tensile strength. Leaves and flowers are thin, which is zinc sheets and gives off no scent. That's pretty cool. I like that. The imagery of this is pretty cool. Inedible. D1A2 cracked a tooth in attempt. Subsequent taste test the knife for specimens that can't be cut with a knife. This is the same material in which SCP-1147 was discovered. Original specimens successfully reproduced Dr. Lower, but now we have a whole bunch of tests here, which makes this probably the longest SCP we will read today. Maybe, who knows. So, SA, sand collected from Ocean Beach. Trunk rough, brittle, and pale, crumbles easily to touch into individual grains of sand. Leaves and flowers are translucent and colorless. Scent resembles ocean breeze. Structure collapses when subjected to similar rain. Inedible, falls apart in the hand because it's made out of sand. GL, seed pressed into a recently forged 20 centimeter glass sphere as it's cool. So that's steel, that's sand, and that's glass. Trunk is clear, flawless, faceted glass. Roots visible within sphere. Leaves act as a prism casting a spectrum of light onto the surface. Flowers are light pink glass or so. Hollow colored glass, inedible. Personal request to give -GL's gifts denied. I mean, it would make sense. It looks nice, but you shouldn't because it's an SCP and might do something else when it's gone. CO. Planted filled with poured concrete. C pressed 5 centimeters onto the surface. Trunk matches color, texture, and strength of concrete. Leaves are pliable when soaked in water and applied to a surface that they harden to a firm shell. Flowers share similar properties and have chalky scent. Inedible. Leaves could be useful to quickly repair damaged walls, floors. Further research recommended. I'm sorry if I'm hawking myself, but it's getting cold in here. even though the window is closed, but like, yeah, I'm getting a bit chilly. Okay. CH, charcoal ground into rough powder, trunk, dry and cracked, resembling a tree after a forest fire. Leaves black and crumble easily. Flowers smell like burned wood. Recommend storing away from the other specimen in case of accidental combustion. Withered and smoky flavor. It produces a small quantity of liquid which is easily ignited. Like there's more. So PA, shredded white printed paper, mixed with water into a pulp. Trunk composed of layered sheets of white paper that can be peeled away individually. Leaves are yellow with light blue veins. Flowers multicolor with the extra of tissue paper. Scent resembles a new book. Edible but largely flavorless. D431 received minor cuts on lips and tongue. CT proceeded compressed cotton stored in fabric sack. Bark is a brown felt with a cotton core giving into pressure. Bark does not heal naturally but can be stitched closed with no negative effects. Leaves are green, flower stitched veins. Flowers are pink from pink cotton with the scent of freshly washed laundry. Resembles a plush plum, edible but just barely. WO, 20 centimeter cube of stacked lumber, 5 centimeter hole drilled into also like wood. Drilled into the top, seeds placed within, plugged with wooden dowel. Trunk resembles normal plum tree but drier. Branches easily cracked, leaves and flowers dry, colorless with the scent of sawdust. Inedible, surface smooth and polished with a visible grain. MO, 2,183 US dollars in mixed bills, shredded and mixed with water to form pulp. Money doesn't grow on trees. Similar structure to PA. Her trunk is a pale green in color. Leaves bear a random mix of symbols and images commonly found on currency, but do not resemble complete and passable bills. Flowers have a scent of fresh dollar bills. A paper skin filled with dark ink. Sample of ink had a mild plum flavor. I told you that it wouldn't work. I'm glad I didn't chip in on the collection, Dr. Laurel. Oh god. Come on, Afro, you can do it. It's only 2 more after this. Filled with water. Trunk is smooth, transparent, and cool to the touch, resembling quartz. Leaves thin, membranous, and waterproof. Flowers emit unscented mist. A thin but durable skin containing approximately 100 milliliters of potable water with a slight plum flavor. Seed floating within. Gardening staff finds samples incredibly refreshing. Request for additional planters of SCP-1147-water approved. PE, crude oil. Bark is black, giving and perpetually greasy. Leaves share similar properties. Flower produce a combustible vapor. Specimens to be isolated in a separate enclosure. A thin but durable skin containing approximately 100 milliliters of a refined petroleum, similar to this diesel fuel. Sea floating within. Okay. LA, pasteurized cow milk. Trunk is wide and stronger than normal wood. Leaves and flowers are soft with a slightly sour scent. Creamy and solid with a skin and flavor reminiscent of brie cheese. Serves well with white wine. Okay. BE. Brand beer. Specimen grew gnarled and erratic with a mottled bark pattern. Leaves sag. Flowers produce a thick foam. A taut skin containing approximately 100 milliliters of 6.5 ABV stout beer. Seed floating within. I would recommend this disciplinary action against researcher Adams for liberally sampling dash BE2 before proper D-class testing, but I believe the hangover is punishment enough. He made a beer tree and was like, let me just drink from it directly from the bark into my mouth. Man, they're going ham. EL, a solid shred electronics. Bark consists of green plastic. When peeled off, circuits present on interior. Leaves resemble solar cells in construction and are capable of collecting energy even after detached from specimen. Flower utilize fiber optics to produce light displays. Inedible can be adapted to solid state storage device. Analysis of contained data ongoing. Repeating the process with EL1 produces more efficient and refined specimen. Dr. Laurel. LE, brand plastic building blocks. Entire trees constructed of individual multicolored blocks, including Lego flowers, including leaves and flowers. Specimen can be broken apart and rebuilt into different configuration and will resume growth with no negative effects. Each fruit is constructed exclusively out of violet bricks with a seed cradle at the center. I am wondering something now. I used to fucking play this game as a child. So yeah, look at that. Soccer mania. Oh god. Football Mania, and I wonder, did they re-release this for anything? Because that shit was I loved playing that game. That was so cool. I wonder if we can quickly, really quickly watch the opening. Hopefully that won't give me any copyright issues. It shouldn't, I think. I don't know. Football Mania. Yeah, here we go. Oh my god, the memories. Lego video games, just all of them are good. Well, majority of them. I think there's a couple bad ones. Like, they decided to combine Lego and football, but that was not enough for them. They also decided that this game needs to have items. As in, like, Mario Party items. Yeah, like bombs, here you go. It's just purely wild, and I love it for it. I love this game so much that I hope maybe Steam has it again, because that would be fun. I hope it has been re-released. Probably not. I love this game. I remember I scratched this so I can play it. One of the first games played. This game was amazing, but in 2014 it died. Why isn't it? Yeah, okay, it doesn't look like it has been really released for anything. Yeah, Lego. Each fruit is constructed exclusively out of violet bricks with a seed cradle at the center. WX, a 220 cube of wax. Seed pressed 5 centimeters in the wax as it cooled. Tree easily mistaken for a natural plant at a distance, but but subtle sheen and stiffness of leaves noticeable upon close inspection, vulnerable to deformation at higher temperatures, edible with a soft plum flavor but not nutritional value. With wick inserted, fruit will burn for approximately 12 hours. And the last set of experiments. Oh yeah, the music. Pardon me. All specimens in this category were raised in isolated underground testing chambers at sector access restricted to security level 3. BL, 30 liters cow's blood. Bark is flaky with a dark color reminiscent of dry blood. Leaves are thin, translucent, featuring a web of red veins. Flowers are dark crimson and emit a red mist once a day. Specimens should be tended and watered only by D-class wearing environmental suits until the nature of researcher Parker's illness can be determined. Where samples are a regular plum with a nearly black skin and a dark red juices, D968 and D2401 vomited and convulsed within 1 hour of ingesting an entire sample. Further testing suspended. BO, complete cow skeleton ground into powder. Trunk is smooth and wide with a core of marrow. There is no leaves or flowers. Fruit, none. ME, ground beef. Bark resembles cow flesh, complete with thin layer of mottled I don't know, hair, covering striated muscle, produces hair in place of leaves, flowers, but as fleshy sacs before ripening into fruit. Sand is rotten and disorienting. Raw ingestion produced symptoms reminiscent of food poisoning. Cooked fruit more edible, but taste described as gross and wrong. DC, seed implanted under the forearm skin of a restrained growth resembled an additional limb, with roots entangled in the veins, nerves, and bones of the arm. D1052 reported no ill effect and responded to stimulus given to -DC after surgical removal. Both specimen and D1052 expired on the operating table. Autopsy pending. Redacted. All samples of DC-1 and DC-2 destroyed. Further testing requires O5 level approval. That was fucked up. You just go. That's, you know, like how many kids have the nightmare, or they just think that if you eat a watermelon, see that a watermelon tree will grow out of your stomach and come out of your mouth. That's basically that, but then make it actually happen, and it's a plum tree instead. Yeah, it's just not okay. BR, complete human brain. Oh god. From D1398. Bark is pale and membranous with dark veins visible beneath the surface. Specimens respond to harmful stimulus by shifting away at the rate of 1 centimeter per minute. 1 centimeter per minute. Leaves laced with a dense web of veins and nerves. I just realized something. There we go. Leaves laced with a dense web of veins and nerves. Flowers resemble primitive sensory organs. Sensitivity test ongoing. Upon attempted removal of fruit, data expunged. Agents and from MTF Theta 4 responded and specimen now under control and observation. Requesting all available records pertaining to D1398. Further testing requires O5 approval. Not that it do researcher Pulse any good. I accept full responsibility for not taking his suspicions more seriously. Damn it, I went into botany to avoid this sort of thing, Dr. Lowe. Not around here, not even for the SCP Foundation. Doesn't matter what you go into. Something that you love will be an SCP and it will be horrible. Next we have the imperfect image. I can just imagine it's like an image that's like super normal, but then the longer you look at it, the more wrong is with it. You know how like sometimes some people can draw or photograph an image and it looks like it's like cursed, so to speak. It's like it's cursed to look at. Like you're like, oh god, there's so much wrong with this. And the more you look, the more wrong things you see. And I think that's what it is. But instead of like on purposely looking wrong from the beginning, it looks normal at first. But then after a while, the more you look at it, like the more you're like, oh my god, were his eyes always like that? Why is this? Like why are his fingernails that long? Like it just keeps morphing into like this grotesque image. Oh god. What do you mean? Wait, prior to extraction? That's kind of creepy. Is he supposed to be in the door? I hope not. I would hate that if that's again. God damn, dude. Safe. SCP-1148 is to remain situated on the window hereafter referred to as -1. Yes. SCP-114. Yep. On the window hereafter referred to as -1. To this end, -1 is to be embedded in a wall dividing a standard containment room in two. Illumination of no less than 100 watts is to be provided into the entrance division of the room, while the second division is to remain unlit. In case of power loss, chemiluminescent sources sufficient for 24 hours are mandated. Illumination between the rooms section must never fall below a difference of 75 watts. SCP-1148 is the reflected image currently maintained on -1. It appears identical to the reflection that should occur naturally on the surface of -1. Let me read that again. Image currently maintained on -1. It appears identical to the reflection that should occur naturally on the surface of -1, aside from those minor discrepancies outlined below. SCP-1148 totally obstructs the view outwards through -1 despite the transparency of the underlying glass. Subjects who view the illuminated side of -1 are initially oblivious to the presence of SCP-1148 beyond that of an ordinary reflection. Observation from the opposite side of -1 reveals no reflection has been found asymptomatic after approximately 15 minutes of exposure. The first documented symptoms begin to manifest. Effects are as listed. Paranoia regarding what is behind SCP-1148, a feeling of being watched, a fixation on observing SCP-1148 despite a desire to turn away. It's very much like those posts that there was like a huge phase on the internet where like a bunch of people post like pictures of themselves and then like I think it was the iPhone face recognition would just show like a block in the darkness and they'll be like you know, I think it's like that. Within 5 minutes of the appearance of these symptoms, subjects report sighting transient figures as part of SCP-1148. These figures, which should not present as part of a true reflection, are described as disappearing upon intentional viewing and include a man cloaked in a black hood, a large winged biped and a pair of glowing eyes. Okay. Bit of a devil. With an additional 5 minutes of exposure, subjects express an irrational desire to approach SCP-1148. Oh god. Of course they do. Horror movie logic take over their brain. They're like, I have to get closer. Reasons are varied, but are often explained as wanting to close -1 or draw a blind, despite the fact that -1 is neither capable of opening nor has any covering. Upon moving within 2 centimeters of SCP-1148, an unseen force is witnessed to act upon the subject, drawing them closer. While invisible to external observers, various hysterical victims describe a pair of disembodied arms emerging from SCP-1148. Said limbs extend to approximately elbow length and are assumed to be humanoid, acting to pull the subjects inside SCP-1148. No subject has yet been recovered following this event. At the present time, no method of independently containing. My chin is itchy. SCP-1148 can be a certain equal elimination of both sides of -1 is expected to remove SCP-1148, but based on information gathered before its collection, it would most likely be transported to another suitable effective surface. All known appearances of SCP-1148 have occurred, and on unbacked vertical plates having at least 1 millimeter of clearance behind them, and which are capable of transmitting light through the entirety. In example, windows, sliding doors, windscreens. Proximity is thought to be a deciding factor in this transfer, but testing has been postponed to the large risk of a breach. And experiment log. Below is a transcript of the experiences of subject D31415 with SCP-1148 proctored by Dr. Subject enters illuminated side of containment chamber. Okay, Doc. So what am I supposed to do, eh? There's nothing in here but a chair and a window. No actions required this time. All you must do remain in the room. How do you feel? Oh, fine, I guess. I'm supposed to feel anything? Hey, is there something behind that window? I can tell where it goes. Please refrain from asking questions. Only information regarding your emotional and mental state is needed at this time. Subject remains seated in the folding chair provided. He faces the wall perpendicular to -1. Do you notice any change in your mentality? Nothing's the fault, Doc. I'm just kind of bored sitting here. Couldn't you throw on a TV or a magazine or something? I don't know how you've done it, but I know you've done it. I wish I could do that. I could do that voice from the little mafia guy from the Looney Tunes. The little guy with a giant hat. Voiced by Mel Blanc. Okay, damn, there's a lot of time passing by. Until this time, the subject has remained essentially stationary in the aforementioned chair. No feelings other than boredom have been reported. Hey, Doc, I think I'm starting to get something. I've been feeling sort of creeped out just sitting here. Please elaborate. How do you feel exactly? Don't know, it's just sort of uncomfortable in my own skin, you know? It isn't right in here. What did you say was behind that window again, Doc? Can you be more specific? Subject turns to face -1 immediately assumes form position. It's like something's watching me. I don't like this. Can we stop now? What's behind that glass, Doc? You gotta tell me. There's no cause for alarm. Remain seated and continue the test. Subject again turns towards -1, this time maintaining his gaze. Come on, Doc. This isn't cool. I swear something's looking at me from behind that thing. Why can't I see through it? What do you guys put back there? Come on. Subject has exhibited a pattern of glancing at -1 and then breaking eye contact for the last several minutes. Observations are increasing in duration and now last several seconds. Subject is also visibly agitated. Okay, Doc, this isn't fun anymore. I want this to stop. I can't take it. Please specify, what can't you take? It's too much, I swear. I'm not alone. What is behind that glass, Doc? I know there's something. What is it? Why can't I see it? Tell me what's going on. Subject is becoming increasingly fixated on -1. Despite his request to leave the containment area, he has not left the chair. His pattern of glances continues. Holy shit! What was that thing? I swear it was there. Why can't I see it? Please describe what you have seen. It was like, I don't know, big. Like a guy or something in the window. But there were wings. Definitely wings. There it is again. Wait. Where'd it go? I'm not crazy, Doc. Why won't you tell me what's on the other side of that window? Because it's not part of the test. Subject displays a frenzied observation pattern. He is highly distressed by his observations. Subject remains seated. Please continue. Your experiences are vital to the experiment. No way, Doc. No way. I can't see it in the corner of my eye. Why can't I get a clear view? Why are you doing this to me? What the hell is behind that window? I know it can't see me. Why can't I see what it is? Tell me what's going on. It's surprising how many times he asked for the doctor to tell him what's going on, and he has not said a single word. The subject has maintained his position, but is becoming very erratic. He claims to see horrific images in his peripheral vision. No clear description has yet been provided. His view of -1 is now almost continuous. Hey, Doc, I'm feeling a bit better. Sorry for how I was acting before. It's creepy as hell in here, though. Are you still feeling distressed? Are there any more figures in the reflection? I still want to know what's behind that thing, Doc. Why won't you tell me? That thing Seems to have disappeared mostly though. I still don't like it in here. How much longer it's going to take? The experiment will continue until we have recorded all relevant data. Please attempt to describe what you have seen. Doc, how long has that window been open? Do you think it's a good idea to have it, leave it like that with that thing out there? I think I should close it. Oh, that's how it gets you. That's how it gets you. Subject stands and begins to approach -1. He never breaks eye contact. He appears unaware that -1 has no hinge and is incapable of moving. I've got to close it, Doc. There's no way I'm letting that thing in here. No way. Screw your test. I'm not dying for this. I don't care what you have back there as long as it stays the hell put. Proceed. The subject makes physical contact with the frame of -1. Holy shit! No, Jesus Christ! What's happening? Describe your experiences. Make it stop! Jesus fucking. The experiment was concluded following the absorption of D31415. No remains were recovered following this disappearance. That is creepy, and I love it. I love it. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, let's put it up here. Last one. Erratic weather vane. Isn't the weather vane like the... Wait, let me actually double check before I say shit. Yes. Well, it's erratic, you say. So what could it potentially do to make it an SCP? Maybe it's not that it reacts to the wind. Well, the wind reacts to it, as in like wherever it, like it. But that's hard to like. That's how do you tell if the wind reacts to a weather vane instead of the other way around? Because you could just think that the wind is causing it all. So, God, oh my Lord. Okay, let's get this over. Let's get this over with, guys. I am tired. Euclid, SCP-1149 is to be kept. I'm going to read this a bit faster because I really want to just... I'm also hungry, so... To be kept in a secure room at the restroom end of Site 37, located in the remote location on the northwest coast in the United States. To minimize the conspicuousness of its effect, SCP-1149 is to be pointed to the due west towards the Pacific Ocean at all times. See Incident Report 1149-8 is to be firmly attached to a support structure, which is itself is to be anchored to the floor. Accelerometric and atmospheric sensors attached to the support structure will transmit readings to a nearby monitoring center. I need to check something. I thought so. Okay, and I'm back. Wait, hold on. Yeah, I'm back. Yeah. Atmospheric conditions within SCP-1149 containment room are to be kept stable with an airlock permitting entry. A single fan mounted in the wall of the room to the east of SCP-1149 is to be tightly covered and locked in position until it is required for testing. When opened, airspeed shall not exceed 30 km per hour. Access restricted to level 1 personnel with the approval of a superior. All test software and all test equipment must be inspected by at least 2 Site 37 technical review staff members. SCP-1149's wires must be grounded during any test until more information about the object is obtained. Approval of the complete testing of a vertical upward orientation is currently pending. Testing of a vertical downward orientation is prohibited at Site 37 due to its close proximity to major vault lines, and no site transfers are currently pending at this time. SCP-1149's rough cone of effect has been classified as a conservation area, and all non-emergency watercraft and aircraft are disallowed access. 2 patrol teams using United States Coast Guard motor lifeboats will monitor the boundaries of the cone of the effects for trespassers. Patrols should not pursue trespassers, but should contact researchers in charge of SCP-1149 for further instructions. Ow. Ow. SB1149 is a rusted weather vane approximately 45 centimeters long and 30 centimeters tall, bearing no discernible manufacturer mark or any particular identifying features aside from the common rooster or ornamentation. The base of the vane is corroded and appears to have broken from its mount some time prior to recovery. Within the severed mount point, 2 frayed wires run further up into the vane. Interior imaging shows them terminating just beyond the feet of the roster and reveals no power source or other notable components. The wires are believed to have once connected to a control mechanism. SCP-1149's anomalous properties appear to always be in effect amplified intensity and frequency when wind passes over it in the direction which it is pointing. While active weather activity will become erratic in the vicinity of SCP-1149. Most of the anomalous effects will occur within a cone of effect, approximately 215 kilometers long with an arc of 5 degrees, originating from the object's arrow tip, while the frequency of appearance of these effects does taper sharply near the boundaries of this cone. Anomalous effects have been observed on a rare occasion well outside of the cone of effect. When kept out of the wind, SCP-1149 causes an anomalous weather event to occur within its cone of effect once every 15 minutes on average, with each event typically lasting between 10 seconds and 2 minutes, depending on the intensity of the event. When exposed to air traveling along its length, in example west in its current orientation, the events become more frequent and last longer. When exposed to winds between 25 and 40 kilometers per hour, the events will be continuous at the center of the cone of effect, with events sharpening and starting randomly near and beyond the border. Beyond 40 kilometers per hour, events will begin to overlap, creating a continuous event growing in intensity until the speed of the wind passes over 100. SCP-1149 decreases below this threshold. Incident report. SCP-1149-A. The additional containment procedures for SCP-1149 had it secured in a place pointing directly away from the Earth's surface. It was believed that this orientation would result in the lowest possible magnitude of abnormal weather events. However, the object's effects on upper atmospheric layers was not predicted. Yeah, because it's like it reaches 215 kilometers up, which is definitely out of the Earth's gravity zone, stratosphere, right? Is it? How high do you have to? Because like, how high is it to? Wait a minute. How high was the space jump into Earth? Jumping from space, like Felix Baumgartner, man, that was. Remember that shit? Damn. Felix Baumgartner. Yeah. Where's following a record distance of 36,402.6 meters, so that's 36 kilometers. So yeah, 215 kilometers is definitely way above that. In the days following initial containment, a slight yet noticeable increase in sprite electrical events and aurora effects was observed over Site 37. The frequency of these otherwise uncommon events was deemed to potentially draw on due attention to Site 37, and SCP-1149's containment procedures were updated for a westward orientation. SCP-1149 was discovered in the ruins of a small coastal college in is that Oregon? After a strong storm had passed through the area. While the primary storm itself was not strange in and of itself, Foundation agents were dispatched to the area where highly anomalous weather effects were observed over the Pacific Ocean. Focused on a rough cone shape emanating from Agents were unable to find the owners of the cottage, though evidence suggested the property had been inhabited until a short time before the cottage destruction. SCP-1149 was found firmly affixed to the remains of what is assumed to be the interior wall of a shed. A wider search of area was unable to locate SCP-1149's base or any further information regarding SCP-1149's origin or operation. Addendum 2. Wind testing log. All tests were conducted under closed conditions at Site 37. Weather stations took readings from Site 37 itself as well as from observation vessels located at multiple points along the boundaries of SCP-1149's cone of influence. When high accuracy readings were required, a geostationary satellite was used. The wires leading into SCP-1149's base were grounded for these tests. Show wind testing log. Test wind 1. No wind, tested for 1 hour, baseline test. Calm, wind east-southeast at approximately 5 km per hour, clear skies. 5 events were recorded during this period. The first was the formation and dispersal of an abnormally small cumulonimbus cloud accompanied by expected degrees of rain and lightning, which lasted for 2 minutes. The second was a pocket of fog less than a kilometer in diameter lasting for 45 seconds. The third was an area of intense heat first noticed to be the evaporation of seawater it caused. Temperatures were measured to reach 129 degrees Celsius at the height of the event, which lasted 30 seconds. The fourth event was another pocket of fog over a smaller area accompanied by a temperature drop of approximately 10 degrees Celsius relative to a surrounding area, which lasted 3 minutes 25 seconds. The final event was a small water spout forming without accompanying cold clover. The cyclone lasted for 1 minute 10 seconds and remained in contact with the surface of the ocean for 10 seconds after that time. Cyclone wind speeds reached a peak of 112 km per hour. Researchers noted for brevity's sake, following logs will only note newly observed phenomena. Okay. Test wind 2, conditions 5 km of wind, tested for 62 minutes. Oh, hey. Your reflection. 6 events were recorded during this period. Of these were 2 consisted of new weather effects. The first of these lasted for 4 minutes 10 seconds. A cloud of unusual density formed in a structure not previously observed on Earth. This cloud was accompanied by intense lightning strikes for the duration of its existence and dropped rain turning to snow, then back to rain. The second unique event occurred at the end of testing and lasted for 5 minutes. During this time, the temperature rapidly dropped in an area that grew to 0.25 kilometers in diameter at the height of the event, with temperatures dropping to minus 80 degrees Celsius. Water vapor in the air condensed and froze, creating a fog-like effect. The surface of the ocean also froze within this area of effect to an estimated depth of 1.2 meters. Test wind 4, 10 kilometers per hour wind, blowing perpendicular to SCP-1149. External fan approved for this test. Tested for 1 hour. Weather conditions prior to test: wind southeast at approximately 15 kilometers per hour, overcast, light rain. 4 events were recorded during this period. No unique events occurred. Researchers note this would seem to indicate that blowing perpendicularly doesn't have any effect, though perhaps something will be observable at higher wind speeds. Researchers note tests wind 6 omitted for redundancy further supports the above theory. Only air that travels along the length of SCP-1149 affects its effects. Test wind 7, 20 kilometers per hour wind, tested for 1 hour. Wind southeast at approximately 5 kilometers per hour, light cloud to cover. Events were continuous during this period, with many occurring simultaneously. Most were not unique, though 3 were of particular interest. The first was a highly dense, rapidly rotating cloud mass. After observing its odd color, further analysis indicated that it consisted of water mixed with hydrochloric acid. Damn. Abnormal levels of carbon dioxide and methane. The cloud mass was accompanied by a frequent lightning and a particular formed cyclone. This event lasted for 9 minutes and 25 seconds. The second unique event was the repeated rapid information dispersal of an extremely low pressure area, which was observed by the column of water that was quickly drawn up into it, then dropped. This process was repeated 6 times in a small area over the course of 1 minute, 10 seconds. The third unique event was a variation of previously observed event over an area approximately 20 meters in diameter. The air temperature rose and quickly peaked at 334 degrees Celsius, lasting for a total of 11 minutes. During this time, the surface of the ocean vaporized, creating a growing plume of steam. This event manifested near one of the observation vessels involving in testing, resulting in heat damage to part of the vessel's structure and varying degrees of burns to each of its crew. The event caused no fatalities, and the vessel was able to retreat before the damage became too great. Researchers note containment procedures updated. With events of this nature, we need systems in place to prevent people from entering the area. Also, you should probably grow part of the ocean back, which luckily you have a lot of like water-based SCPs that create water. So that should be possible. Test wind 17, conditions kilometers per hour, wind tested for 27 minutes. Calm winds east-northeast at approximately 10 kilometers per hour, clear skies. Clouds immediately began to form, starting at the center of the cone of effects and spreading outwards. Cloud composition was determined to be a condensed mixture of water with small amounts of hydrogen, helium, and ammonia. Lightning strikes were frequent, occurring nearly continuously, starting at approximately 3 minutes. At approximately 5 minutes, the temperature climbed above 90 degrees Celsius, causing the ocean within the cone of effects to begin vaporizing at increased rate. Observation vessels retreated and were able to avoid damage to the duration of the test. At approximately 15 minutes, cloud cover began condensing drastically and rotating rapidly, causing winds to reach speeds in excess of 400 kilometers per hour. And that is way too fast. At this point, the cone of effect had doubled in size due to the indirect effects in ocean, and the ocean continued to vaporize at its accelerated rate. By 27 minutes, the rotating storm had reached 240 kilometers in diameter, with wind speeds recorded at kilometers per hour. Small pockets of extremely high temperatures and pressure were observed, resulting in ionization of the air and bursts of light and sounds similar to lightning. Satellite imagery reveals that at this point the storm bore a strong resemblance to data expunged. Testing was concluded at this point. The weather effects quickly dropped off in intensity but did not fully disperse until over 3 hours later. The storm made a landfall 20 minutes after the conclusion of testing, but by this point, clouds mostly consistent of water and caused damage no worse than that of a typical tropical storm of mid-level intensity. Researchers know containment procedures updated. I think we can adequately test this thing without going over 30 kilometers. We could have been in trouble if those poisonous clouds made landfall. Addendum 3, electrical testing log. All tests were conducted under the closed condition at Site 37, where the station took readings from Site 37 itself, as well as from the vessel, located at multiple points along the boundaries of SCP-1149. Cone of influence. When high accuracy readings were required, a geostationary satellite was used. SCP-1149 was under 5 kilometers per hour wind speeds for each of these tests. The wires leading into SCP-1149's base were connected to varying electrical signals. Okay, good. So E1 conditions 5 VDC 0.5A applied to wires tested for 15 minutes. Calm winds east-southeast at approximately 5 kilometers per hour. Light cloud cover. Effects similar to tests. Wind 7 test estimated early. Research note: a direct current seems to simply amplify the effect, not only to prolong the test. Test E4 RS 232 like asynchronous serial communication transmission, transmitting the looping output of a simple program tested for 1 hour. Calm winds northeast at approximately 10 kilometers per hour, like cloud cover. Effects were especially erratic. Multiple events would occur at once and would quickly disperse, followed by calm periods. At times, events would be grouped together, and at others they would have no apparent grouping patterns. Single events occurred at multiple points during the testing as well. None of the observed events were unique. When the timeline of observed behavior was compared to the timeline of the program output, no further patterns could be deduced. Now test 11. E1 VAC 60 Hz 1A applied to virus, tested for 2 minutes 21 seconds. Calm winds east southeast at approximately 10 kilometers per clear skies. Immediately after testing began, a single event started approximately 25 kilometers 16 miles directly west of SCP-1149. A high pressure, high temperature pocket formed, vaporizing the ocean beneath it. Much of the resulting stream was drawn into the pocket, which began to rotate quickly, picking up speed. The cyclone of water vapor soon reached a height of approximately 0.4 kilometers, becoming harder and denser as it drew more water into itself. By this point, wind speeds had exceeded 150 kilometers per hour. After 1 minute 30 seconds of testing, the cyclone began to emit light. After 1 minute 45 seconds, the cyclone had grown to approximately 1 kilometer high, with an immediate area of effect of approximately 0.15 kilometers. Observation vessels nearest the cyclone began to retreat due to the danger of the extreme light and heat. After 2 minutes 21 seconds of testing, the cyclone was clearly visible with no magnification from the observational satellite. The heat and electromagnetic field of the cyclone were measurable at Site 37, causing multiple containment alarms to be triggered. The closest observation vessels to the cyclone began to suffer heat damage as they continued to retreat. At this point, the electrical signal was removed from SCP-1149, its wires were grounded, and the wind in its chamber was shut off. This resulted in the cyclones quickly expanding and returning to normal pressure, ejecting extremely hot water vapor and superheated liquid water out over a radius of over 8 kilometers, causing injuries and then 1 fatality to observational crew. The sudden expansion also caused a small tsunami, resulting in a minor property damage along the coast, though it caused no civilian casualties. Researchers note containment procedures updated. We should discontinue this line of testing until we know more about what we're dealing with. And we're done. I'm sorry how I got better at the second half of the whole yawning thing and all that stuff, but I am sorry that that I just was low energy. Just struggled a little bit with the reading today. So here we go. Oh wait, hold on. There we go. There. Yeah. So let's start. Imperfect image. I think that's just classic horror stuff. Like you think you see something in the reflection, and then you look and you're like, there's nothing there. But the whole idea of something pops in the reflection and you're like, oh, and then you look back and it's gone. But also the like I said, that one time when the internet decided to have that one trend where people would just take selfies, and there would be a dark corridor in the background or a door or anything like that, and then it would show either a face, or the face tracker would point at that area, and you're like, oh shit, there's something there. Adaptive plum tree. I just love the idea of planting a plum tree anywhere, and it literally just takes that soil and transforms its tree into said soil. Steel, glass, anything like that. I think that's pretty cool, and I like the amount of examples we got from that one as well. Nagasaki teddy. The teddy is creepy. It's radioactive, and it wants to hug you, but you don't want to hug it. Cool guys don't look at explosions. I mean, come on. That's just funny. You got some aviators, and the next thing you know, you look away, and you maybe depending on what you do, what you wear, what your stamina is, and so on and so forth, that caused the explosion to be bigger, wider, stronger. Yeah. Gurgles is creepy to me. The fact that there's something that talks to you and it requires something, but we don't know what it is, and it can injure people, and something we can even like flip out and just go on a full on insulting spree, which is like, why do you have to insult me like that? Psycho Printer, yeah. It's like a little kid that's going through it, and there's nothing we can really do. It will take you as fuel if it has to. A cry for help. I will be honest, I already forgot what the cry for help was. Shit, what was the cry for help again? Oh yeah. The cry for help was like, yeah, because see, in my head, the cry for help is like Skinwalker and mimics and voice imitators, but of course the cry for help was the non-aging land mind tracker, which has a voice in it from a different reality of a World War II. Yeah. Entrepreneurial spirit. I do like the idea that the spirits talk to each other. It's like, hey man, I just want to build a restaurant here, okay? It's like, and the other one's like, yeah, but you've done it so often, it's kind of weird. Get some new material, bro. Erratic weather vane. Yeah, I mean, it took me a while to read through it just now and I'm a bit tired. So, but it does do some crazy. It is erratic. It's not lying. It's definitely erratic for sure. And the Orion scales, I feel like it's a bit odd, an odd SCP. Like it's just like, oh, it gives you a certain value of what. If you measure something, I think it's not that exciting, to be honest, but I do, but it also could be that I just didn't read deep enough into it. So yeah, I have nothing else to say. I am tired, I'm hungry, so I'm gonna eat something and then knock myself out. I hope you guys enjoy today's stream. Tomorrow we're gonna read the 1150s. Anybody watching the stream at the end, after like I'm done here and watching it right now, if you reach this far, please go to my Twitter and vote on the next game I should play for Friday after Devil May Cry 5 is done, which will be done potentially in 2 weeks time. So yeah,